2 John, walking in truth, love, and obedience. The book of 2 John is a general epistle. It was written by the Apostle John around 85 to 95 AD. It was written to encourage all Christians not to lose focus on Jesus Christ and to warn against persistent heresy. It also emphasizes the importance of walking in the truth and of loving one another. His key purpose in writing this epistle is so that the children of God may abide in the truth and the truth may abide in them. In verses 1 through 3, John addressed the letter to the chosen lady, which may be referring to one of the churches in his region. John did not identify himself by name in this letter, but he did adopt the term elder for himself. John was probably still in Ephesus when he wrote this letter. Verses 4 through 11 are the body of the letter. John supports the commandment to love one another. The way that love is defined in the Bible is a display of self-sacrifice that was demonstrated best by what Jesus did on the cross, by dying and resurrecting as a self-sacrifice on the behalf of humanity. This love is replicated by us through obedience to God, but is also something we must show others. In verses 12 through 13, John wraps up his letter with the intentions of making a visit and discussing many topics face to face. He sends greetings from the children of your chosen sister. This is probably his church in Ephesus. 2 John makes clear what our position should be regarding enemies of the truth. John is still dealing with Gnosticism, which denied that Jesus had a real human body composed of matter, since they viewed matter as being innately evil. He cautions them to watch for deceivers and antichrists that are abundant and active in the world, spreading false teachings. 2 John focuses on protecting our fellowship from those who teach falsehood. Those who do not follow the teachings of Jesus Christ are false teachers and stretch the truth into radical doctrine. He makes it clear that these people are antichrist and do not know the Lord. He also reminds his readers of their responsibility as Christians to love other Christians, although above all things he wants them to walk in truth. Truth is a key word in John's vocabulary, occurring more in his writings than in those of any other New Testament author. In his one-chapter epistle of 2 John, it occurs 5 times. This truth is still consistent in our modern day. We must also walk in truth in this world of deception. John's very first mention of truth was in relation to Jesus, whose glory he had beheld in his incarnation as full of grace and truth. In fact, Jesus Christ himself claimed, "I am the truth." He also said, "Thy word is the truth." And it is the Spirit that beareth witness, because the Spirit is truth. To walk in the truth, bringing joy to the Father, is to believe in Christ, and then to trust and obey his word as illumined by this witnessing Spirit. In other words, those who walk in truth should be people who love others, but they should be cautious who they love. Deceivers and false teachers had infiltrated the church, teaching falsehoods about the person of Jesus, saying that he was not truly a man, but only appeared to be one. John's encouragement then was not to simply love, but to love others within the limits that truth allows. 2 John is unique because it is one of the 2 shortest books in the Bible. 2 John is the 4th of the general epistles, which are the writings of the apostles to the church at large. John's is the only one of the 4 not considered among the synoptic gospels. Generally speaking, the synoptics tell us what Jesus said and did, whereas John tells us who Jesus is. The synoptics focus on the signs and sayings of Christ, while John emphasizes the identity of Christ. There are many things in our society that pull people away from who they are in Christ. With the way our world is in its current state, and given the direction it's going, it is becoming more important every day for Christians not to lose their identity to something other than Christ. Our love is dependent on our obedience. When we don't obey, we don't love. Often we get in a mindset that our obedience to God affects only ourselves, but that is not true. Our actions, whether obedient or disobedient, have effects far beyond our own limited vision of circumstance. Consider your own life. In what ways might your obedience or disobedience impact those in your immediate circle of relationships? 2 John reminds us not only of the dangers of falling away from the truth, but also the importance of making obedience a priority in our lives, for ourselves and for those most important to us.